first I'm going to call up Chris Chan, and he's going to share a few facts about our trip, and then after Chris is going to be Jeff Hahn with more facts about our trip. Okay, guys.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. Oh, I hate that picture. This is the 12th year Evergreen has sent a relief team out to help rebuild homes that were destroyed or damaged by natural disaster. If you remember, you're following our team, the first 7 years we were in Mississippi, and we were rebuilding homes that were damaged by Hurricane Katrina. The next 4 years we were in Oklahoma repairing tornado damaged homes, and this past year in Louisiana. So why Louisiana, you may ask, and maybe more interesting, why Denham Springs, Louisiana? Pastor Victor, who oversees our outreach ministry, after seeing footage of the flood damage in Louisiana, had asked the leadership team if we would at least consider if there's anything we could do for the people in Louisiana. So we were open to going back to Oklahoma, but we're also open to exploring Louisiana and seeing if the Lord is actually calling us there. So our leadership team, made up of Craig, Jeff, Matthias, and myself, we took a vision trip or a scouting trip to Louisiana in September. We met with 3 organizations, 2 of which are Habitat for Humanity, one in New Orleans, one in Baton Rouge, and the third one was an organization called Reach Global Crisis Response. There's an interesting story behind how we were introduced to Reach Global. Oh, what is this? Wait. You guys. Okay, that's Reach Global. There's an interesting story. Caught me off guard. There's an interesting story of how we were introduced to Reach Global, how God orchestrated that meeting, but we don't have time to speak on that. Craig did a very good job on our blog. If you look up his video, he will explain to you how, again, God orchestrated that introduction. So after we returned home from the vision trip, the leadership team invested some time praying over and evaluating the pros and cons of each organization. For a variety of reasons, we felt God calling us to Reach Global and into Denham Springs. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Denham Springs is about an hour and a half northwest of New Orleans, or just 20 minutes east of Baton Rouge. It's a low to moderate income area with a median household income of about $47,000. And if you don't already know, much of Louisiana is underwater or below sea level. Excuse me, underwater, that's not good. Below sea level. And New Orleans is actually the lowest point in Louisiana. It's 8 feet below sea level, and Denham Springs is not as low as New Orleans, but still below sea level. Denham Springs' drainage system is generally adequate to pump and divert water away from the city during a storm. But keep in mind, Denham Springs had not had a severe storm in over 100 years. And because of that, about 90% of the homeowners there did not have homeowners insurance. The big flood occurred in August 2016. That's a picture of the flood. Since Denham Springs was not a popular tourist destination like New Orleans, they didn't even give the flood an official name. Some of the folks out there in Louisiana called it the no-name flood of 2016. How sad. The flood was caused by a storm that dispersed 7 trillion gallons of water over 3 days, which caused the nearby rivers to overflow. Around 160,000 homes were partially damaged or completely destroyed. There were an estimated 20,000 water rescues, and 13 people actually died in the flood. The 3 homes that we worked on had water in their house, ranged from maybe about a couple feet off the ground to the other house we worked on, which was totally submerged underwater. And in that house, the homeowner had to flee for safety in the 2nd story of her barn until she was rescued. Okay. All this to simply say that there are a lot of opportunities to serve there. There are a lot of good people that experienced a horrific and unimaginable event in their lives, and they're still still trying to put their life back together. And of course, there are just a lot of folks out there that need to experience the love, the encouragement, and the hope that's found in Jesus Christ. Anyway, I want to quickly share about where we stayed. Oops. Okay, where we stayed at Grace Community Bible Church. Okay, that's the front of the church. This is our team in front of the church. And that is our famous outdoor shower shack. Just wanted you guys to know we didn't stay at like Ritz-Carlton or anything. The church is not doing well, so we could be praying for them. When we joined the worship service on Sunday, we literally doubled their congregation at about 25. So there's about 20 of us on the team, there's about 25 in their congregation. The pastor even shared from the pulpit that he was looking for a part-time job to supplement his income from the church. It just reminded me of how blessed we are at Evergreen. I bring up their financial situation because it directly impacts our decision not to return to Denham Springs next year. And let me explain. Reach Global's strategy is after a natural disaster, they would contact one of their churches in the Evangelical Free Conference, and Grace Community Church is not in that conference, and they would help rebuild that church. Next, they would assist the church members to rebuild their homes, and while working on with church members' homes, they would look for opportunities to engage the neighbors, usually about home repairs, but ultimately to introduce them to Christ by developing a relationship with a church member, inviting them to church, starting a Bible study, or whatever, just to show love to them. That's their outreach model: evangelism first and building second, which I thought was a great model. But since Grace Community Bible Church was not doing well and actually considering disbanding, and even they're considering merging with another church, plus the fact that it was hard for Reach Global to get volunteers to go out to Denham Springs. It's because of those reasons Reach Global had decided to discontinue operations in Denham Springs this year. I believe we are the second to the last team that's going to work in Denham Springs through Reach Global. So with that, we will be praying about where the Lord is calling us next year. I was hoping to return to Louisiana for at least a couple of years, but the Lord had other plans. So in closing, in Proverbs 16, verse 3, it says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." So we don't know where we're going next year, but I'm not worried because God knows. Thank you.